Yeah.
Okay, Aditya Kasuri, this is the Pujari of Lord Narsinghadev in Mayapur. So this Prabhu and his twin brother, uh, they came to Mayapur in the early 80s and they never left after that. So his twin brother Jananivas Prabhu is the head Pujari of Radha Madhav, and Pankajangri Prabhu, they both are disciples of Srila Prabhupada, and he is the head Pujari of Narasimhadev. And that Narasimhadev that we are having in Mayapur is basically meant for worshipping in the heavenly planets. And nobody here in the earthly planets, we got the capacity to worship him. This is according to a great Sankaracharya, the soul, and this Narsinghadev especially is just after jumping from the pillar. So he has not yet killed Hiranyakashipu. So he's so angry and he's so Ugra. Ugra is angry. So it requires a great amount of purity to worship such a form of Narasimhadev. And of course, since this Narasimhadev, although he's Ugra, he's very angry in the mood because he is in the land of Navadvip or Mayapur, which is a birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He takes on the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is Audarya or very, very merciful mood. And so this Prabhu is there's so many miracles of Narsinghadev. Maybe we should do one day story of miracles, a one day session of real time, the reciprocations of Lord Narsinghadev to his deities, to the devotees. But now, such a devotee is under distress. That's also the mercy or the plan of the Lord. So all of us can pray for him. So since this is the theme of this day, I would like you all to chant 21 times the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hearing the mantra, giving your heart to the mantra, and praying to the Lord, who is in the form of the sound. Okay? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much, everyone, for chanting. And I also can request, if I can request 3 more Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Today, I got the sad news of one of my older brothers, who's more like a family friend and a devotee. He was just in the age of 50s and he was admitted in the hospital just 3 days ago and he passed away today. He has a son who's going to college and yeah, they are like more like family friends. So if you can all join me 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra for Prabhu, and so that Krishna can keep him in the shelter and his grieving family, so that they can be consoled and continue in their devotional services. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, thank you all very much. Although the situation looks gloomy, everywhere there is coronavirus, we also have Lord Chaitanya, who is most merciful. So one thing what we can do to help the suffering souls is pray every day by chanting, so that whatever mistakes we have done, that's forgiven. And as a human society, we treat the planet, the animals, the plants properly, and then the innocent soul suffering can be redeemed. Okay, so can everyone pray every day? Do you think it's okay? Everyone praying every day will make a difference, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and that's what we have to do, right? As a human being, our lives are meant for sacrifice and service to others. So when the whole world is suffering, everyone praying for the welfare will really help alleviate the sufferings of this world, and also let them turn towards spirituality, right? That is a real solution. Okay, so we did, so we are doing chapter 11 right now. Are we doing chapter 11?
No.
No, chapter 12.
Chapter 12, okay. What is the title of chapter 9?
The most confidential knowledge.
Perfect Mishti. What is the title of chapter 10?
The opulence of the absolute.
That's great. And what is the title of chapter 11?
The universal form.
Universal form.
Very good. And what is the 12th chapter called in Sanskrit?
Devotional service.
Devotional service in Sanskrit. Do you know in Sanskrit?
Bhakti Yoga.
Bhakti yoga.
Bhakti Yoga. Very good. So we are doing Bhakti Yoga. And who can you please raise your hands? Who wants to say 12.1 and the translation? Shaurya, can you say 12.1 and the translation?
Yes, Mataji. Evam satata yuktaye bhaktya stam paryupasate ye chapi aksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha.
Very
Arjuna
good.
inquired, which is considered to be more perfect, those who are properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested?
Very good. Okay. And 12.2. Who wanted to recite 12.2? Raise your hand. I want you to, I'm not able to see everyone. Okay, Krishna Chaitanya.
Okay. Maya Veshamano Ye Mam Nitya Yukta Pasate Shraddhavan Bhajate Yamam Same Yuktatmot
Shraddhaya Parayo
Yaya
Petas.
Paritas Teme Yukta Tamamata.
Very good. Okay. Do you know the translation?
Yeah. Those who render devotional service unto me with complete faith and love those who they will come back to me in that very lifetime only.
Okay, that was kind of a summary of what Krishna said in many things, but Krishna is specifically answering to Arjuna's question, right? So, anyone else who wants to recite the chapter 12, text 2? Okay, so Krishna in text 2 is clearly saying, let's go to Veda base and we can I can read what Krishna is saying. Are you able to see my screen?
No, Mataji.
No, Mataji.
Okay, let me check now. So now you should be able to see, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Sorry. So we did text 1 and text 2. Arjuna is inquiring some specific thing. Who is considered to be more perfect? Those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? Text 2, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. But in text 3 and 4, he's saying something. Who wants to read? Mishti. Yes, Mishti.
Okay, Mataji. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of this absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engage in the welfare of all, at last achieve me.
Okay, so he's saying about what? About those who worship the unmanifested. That means the impersonal worship. After in the second shloka, he says clearly that those who fix their minds upon me, that means the people who worship personal form, they are considered to be most perfect devotees. But then here he's also saying, what about those who will anyway worship the impersonal conception of the absolute truth? Okay, my question is, can you list the words that are used to describe the impersonal conception of the absolute truth?
No.
All-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable.
Very good. Okay, unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses. So this is all used to describe the impersonal conception of the absolute truth. So how to worship the impersonal conception of the absolute truth? Those anyone who has not answered so far, can you try answering this? Okay, whoever wants to answer, whoever knows the answer. From this translation, how it is said that a person can, Prahalad. Did you raise your hand, Prahalad? Okay, Mishti.
Can you repeat the question?
My question is from text 3 and 4, the translation, we read this now. How to worship, how Krishna is saying people worship the impersonal conception of the absolute truth.
By controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone.
By everyone.
Yes, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone. So this is the definition of how, a transcendentalist who's trying to worship the impersonal conception is worshipping. And what are their characteristics? One characteristics, what they should be doing. With respect to the society and their fellow human beings, what they should be doing. Yes, Mishti.
They should be. Yes, Mataji?
Yeah, can you answer?
Is it so they should be engaged in the welfare of everybody and they should be equally disposed to everybody?
Yes, that's perfect. So that's very nice. Although they don't have the conception of Krishna as a deity form and they don't do this, but after doing all this, at last they have to achieve Krishna. That's what he's telling in text 4 and 3 and 4. So text 1 is Arjuna's question. Text 2 is Krishna's clear response that the supreme, personal worship of the personal form is the best. Text 3 and 4, he says how people who worship the impersonal form also at last achieve him. And text 5, now he's also going to say something very significant that we have to know. He's kind of concluding his discussion on personal and impersonal. So let's see what is that. So today we are going to learn text 5. Kleshodikatarastesham. Kleshodikatarastesham.
Kleshodikatarastesham.
Kleshodikatarastesham.
Kleshodikatarastesham.
Avyakta sakta chetasam.
Avyaktachetasam.
Avyakta sakta chetasam.
Avyaktachetasam.
Klesho adhikatarastesham.
Kleshodikatarastesham.
Avyakta sakta chetasam.
Avyaktachetasam.
Avyakta hi gatir dukkham.
Avyakta hikatedukam.
Avyakta hi gatir dukkham.
Avyakta hikatedukam.
Dehavadbir avapyate. Dehavadbir avapyate. क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम्
क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम्
अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम्
अव्यक्ताशक्तचेतसाम्
अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखम् देहवद्भिरवाप्यते. Okay, so let's do the quiz on the synonyms. Is achieved. Who can say what is achieved?
Avyapyate.
Avapyate. Good job. With trouble.
Dukkam.
Good job. Progress.
Gati.
Gatihi.
Of those whose minds.
Chetasam.
Chetasam.
Of them. Very much.
Adhikataraha.
Kleshaha.
Trouble.
Of those whose minds.
Chetasam.
Asakta.
Attached.
Very good. Okay, now let's do sentence by sentence meaning. Tesho adhikatarastesham.
Very much of them achieve unmanifested.
Okay. Avyakta sattachetasam.
To the unmanifest attack of those whose minds
Attached to unmanifested.
Those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested. Okay. Avyakta higatir dukkam.
Certainly progress with trouble towards the unmanifested.
Unmanifest.
Yes, very good. Deha vadbir avapyate.
Is achieved by the embodied.
is achieved with
Very
trouble
good.
by the body.
Okay. So translation, Kanchan, can you read the translation?
Sure, Mataji. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifest, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied.
Thank you, Kanchan. Okay. So for whom advancement is troublesome?
Those whose minds are attached to
Attached
personal features, Supreme Lord.
Yes. And what Krishna says about the progress of in the impersonal path?
It's always difficult for the embodied,
Who are the embodied?
the souls that have material bodies.
Souls are material bodies.
Can you give some examples?
Like people who are there.
Yeah, like us.
Yeah.
Right? We are those embodied. Embodied means within the body. So we are those who are embodied. And what is difficult for us is if our minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal feature, advancement is very troublesome. And to make progress in that discipline is always difficult. See how Krishna says very clearly about so after reading this, does Krishna encourage or discourage the worship of the unmanifested Brahman?
Discourage.
He gives a fact why you should not.
Sorry?
He gives a fact why you should not.
Very good. Yes. He gives the facts why we should not. Okay, good job. Okay, so let's go. So last time, do you remember last class we saw the story?
Yes, Mataji.
So who's this Acharya?
Ramacharya.
So what happened specifically when he called out to the deity?
The deity came and sat on his lap.
Yes, you see, if Krishna is not there in the deity, how will the deity hear and come as well, right? So this is clearly, this is proving that Krishna is there in the deity form. So Krishna is giving us an opportunity to worship him in the deity form. Yes, okay. So here, Krishna is saying two things. Okay, there are the right side is what yoga, and the left side it is what yoga.
The left is Jnana Yoga and Mataji, and the right is Bhakti Yoga.
Very good. Okay, so who are called Jnana Yogis? I want those who have not answered so far to answer, please. Who are you already?
Who follow the transcendentalist, who follow the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord. Those are the people who are called Jnana Yoga.
Jnana Yogis, very good. Okay, who follow the impersonal feature of the Supreme. That's great, Divyansh. Okay, who can define Bhakti Yogis from this? Anyone who has not spoken so far?
They are persons who are full of Krishna consciousness, engaged in devotional service to
the Lord, are called Bhakti Yogis. So two things is who are in full Krishna consciousness and engaged in devotional service to the Lord. So which is easy and which is troublesome?
Bhakti Yoga.
Bhakti Yoga is easy and as well as troublesome?
No.
Bhakti Yoga is easy, Jnana Yoga is difficult.
Yes, Jnana Yoga is difficult and troublesome, and Bhakti Yoga is easy. So Jnana Yoga is basically theoretical understanding. So you need to say what is not God, what is not spirit, what is, so you need to theoretically first understand, and then that becomes very hard and very dry, the processes. But worshipping the Lord in the deity form is called Saguna worship. Theoretically, the Jnana Yogis, when they worship the Lord in the impersonal form, they're called Nirguna worship. Nirguna means not having any material qualities. Same way, Saguna means having all spiritual qualities. Guna is qualities. Saguna means having all spiritual qualities. So the deity form is otherwise called as, in Sanskrit, you know what the deity is called as?
Shri Vigraha.
Very good. Also Archa Vigraha. Archa Vigraha means the incarnation of the Lord, the special incarnation of the Lord, who comes and stays in the Archa, in the deity form. For what purpose?
To accept our devotional service.
To accept our devotional service. Very good. When he comes as Matsya, he's restoring the Vedas. When he comes as Vamana, he is he's bringing the Ganges down. He is measuring the universe. But when he comes as Archa Vigraha, he simply stands and he gives himself for us to worship him by giving him a bath, by giving him dress. And you see the pujaris, they dress the Lord with fabulous dresses and ornaments and a nice turban, and they decorate the Lord's cheeks and they give garlands and everything. He's allowing himself, and he is allowing the devotees to do that. That's why it's called Archa Vigraha. It's none other than another incarnation of the Lord, meant for the purpose of accepting worship. So someone may claim, since Krishna is the deity, when we come to break the deity, okay, the deity doesn't protect himself. So how do you know that the deity is there? And there is an example. Like, for example, in Calcutta temple, recently there was a sudden outbreak of fire, and the devotees, they have to move the deity from the deity room to other place to save the deity. So someone may question, you're praying to the deity is all powerful, but when there is a fire, why is the deity not able to save himself? What will be your answer?
The deity is allowing us to take care of him, so we have to be it's our responsibility. It's like as if you have a child, you have to take care of the child. It's not like it's like the child you're supposed to take care of. It's the same way.
Very good, Mishti. That's a beautiful answer. So in this Vigraha, he is not, in this our incarnation, he's not showing his omnipresence explicitly, although many people can interact with the deity, just like Ramanujacharya. He called, please, can you come and sit in my lap? And the deity came, right? So he was constantly every day talking with the deity, and there are so many even now present in this world. Of course, we know that Prabhupada talked to the deity, and so many even now among us who are living with us, contemporaries of us, they speak to the deity on a daily basis also. So only for exalted souls like this, they can talk to the deity, they can see the deity. Even for us sadhakas who are trying to perfect devotional service, the deity is allowing us to serve him. And as Mishti said, that he's not showing his omni presence or powerfulness like in other avatars. He's like a child, that we have to take care of him, dress him, do everything to him. Like that way, we are training ourselves to serve Krishna. If we train ourselves to serve the deity nicely, then we are training ourselves to serving Krishna face to face, right? And there is no difference between serving the deity and serving Krishna. What is this example? Many times we have discussed this example. Who can say that? The mailbox example. Have we discussed that?
Yes, Mataji, can I say?
Yes, Krishna Chaitanya.
No, when we put the mail in the mailbox, it always goes to the person you want it to go to. So similarly, when we put the money in the donation, it goes to Krishna.
Yes, and also the worship that we do to the deity personally goes to Krishna, right? So you may want to send a get well card to your friend, but you're just putting it in the mailbox, right? But then it goes to your friend's hands. Similarly, although you may look like, oh, Krishna is in Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna is in Vaikunta, but even if this mailbox is like, the deity is like a mailbox. When I serve Krishna, when I chant before him, when I give Abhishek to him, when I dress him, it's like it goes directly to the Lord. It's like personally serving the Lord. Okay. Who wants to read this? Yes, Vikyat.
So for a devotee, there is no difficulty in approaching the Supreme immediately and directly. But for those who are following the impersonal way to spiritual realization, the path is difficult. They have to understand the unmanifested representation of the Supreme through such Vedic literature as the Upanishads, and they have to learn the language, understand the non-perceptible feelings, and realize all these processes. This is not very easy for the common man.
Are we all common man or Superman?
Common.
We are all common man, Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, Dogman. This is all in an imagination. Like we want to be like that, so we create a character like that. But they don't exist really. So we are common man. When we wake up when the sun is already up, and by the time we cook, and then you guys do your work, the sun is down, and then every day by day it's going. As one day goes, -1 in our life. So where do we have time to read all the Upanishads? We need to learn the language. The learning Sanskrit itself, minimum Sanskrit takes 12 years. Previously, Gurukula was 12 years because it requires 12 years to pass or to understand the Sanskrit grammar. So that's why the school also is 12-year system from the old Gurukulas, K to 12, right? So learning the language takes that much time. Then applying the language and understand what is told in the Upanishads and Vedic literatures. And they're not directly said, they're non-perceptual feelings. Means it is not something that you can be felt through the feelings. It is beyond. So understanding all this, and we need to realize all these processes. So Srila Prabhupada says in one simple line that this is not easy for the common man. But then what is easy? Bhakti Yoga. So who can read this? Someone who has not read so far? Srinidhi?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Prahlad, are you playing? Can you come here? Okay, can you read this, Srinidhi? A person in Krishna consciousness?
Yeah, yes, Mataji. A person in Krishna consciousness engaged in devotional service, one, simply by the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, simply by offering regulative obeisances unto the deity, simply by hearing the glories of the Lord, and simply by eating the remnants of foodstuffs offered to the Lord, realizes the Supreme Personality of Godhead very easily.
So is this something that a common man can do, these 4 things?
Yes.
Yes.
Right? Offering regulative obeisances means as soon as you come in front of the Lord after taking bath, first you offer obeisances, right? You acknowledge the presence of the Lord there. Then you hear the glories of the Lord by lectures and by hearing, and then we are guided by the bona fide spiritual master, do this and don't do this. Prabhupada has given 4 regulative principles, and doing is chanting, and then we eat the remnants of foodstuffs offered to the Lord. So by these 4, which are very easy to do, one can easily realize the Supreme Lord. Okay, so what's happening here is a Krishna conscious person, however, being always situated in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, automatically becomes a controller of the senses. His senses, being always engaged in the service of Krishna, have no chance of becoming otherwise engaged. So we always have to engage our senses in service of the Lord. Okay. Who can read this? Prahalad? Okay.
Impersonalists are unnecessarily taking a troublesome path with a risk of not realizing the absolute truth at the ultimate end. But the personalist, without any risk, trouble, or difficulty, approaches the Supreme Personality directly.
Yes. So the impulseless path is like going into the jungle. It is not a pathway like this, but this picture, although it looks like, there is a pathway in between and there is a trees, but it is like actually going into the jungle where there is no path, and you don't have a map. You might get lost and you may not reach the other side of the jungle. But then if you go through the way that is paved already, even though it is jungle, you're going inside through the jungle, you'll come out of the jungle very soon, right? So Will you choose the jungle or the road?
The road.
The road, yes. Which is jnana yoga and which is impersonal worship, which is personal worship?
Jungle is impersonal and road is bhakti.
Very good. Okay. So if one wants to ignore this devotional service, that is the danger of turning to atheism. Thus, the process of centering attention on the unmanifested, the inconceivable, which is beyond the approach of the senses, as already expressed in this verse, should never be encouraged at any time. Especially in this age, it is not advised by Lord Krishna. So Krishna is saying, impersonal worship is like going to the jungle where there's no paved way and there's no guarantee that you can reach. So it's difficult to approach this absolute truth at the end. But in Bhakti Yoga, it is guaranteed, because even now, when we are conditioned, we are able to approach the absolute truth by deity service. Okay. What is lacking in the impersonal liberation? One thing is lacking. Let me see who can read. Hasini, do you want to read this?
Yes, Mataji. A living entity is eternally an individual soul, and if he wants to merge into a supreme whole, he may accomplish the realization of the eternal and knowledgeable aspects of his original nature, but the blissful portion is not realized.
Yeah. So individual soul is eternally an individual soul. Okay, we are individualists eternally, not only during the conditioned life, but during liberation also. But if we want to merge, that individuality is like kind of suppressed, or we are trying to vanquish the individuality. And because there is no individuality, there is no rasa of interaction with the Supreme Lord. If we have individuality, then we serve him in one, maybe as gopis, as his friends, as his parents, or as the trees. And so one of these forms we can serve the Lord, then there is so much of bliss there. But those who merge into the impersonal Brahman, since there is no individuality maintained there, there is no spiritual interactions or reciprocations with the Lord, and that way the blissful portion is not realized. But in bhakti, it is totally bliss, even in the during the performance time and during at the end also. So who knows the story of Prakashananda Saraswati? So who's this? Who's this sitting here?
Mahaprabhu.
Yes. So who are all these? Very good. Who are all these?
Sannyasis.
Yes,
Sannyasis.
Mayavadi sannyasis, and they were headed by Prakashananda Saraswati. And what they are doing to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
Like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing his devotional services to Krishna, they're trying to just help him, not help him, like disturb him not to do his devotional services.
That was a good guess from this picture. But basically, yeah, what they are doing is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very humbly sat in a place where people used to wash their feet. He did not come in the center and sit within all of them. He said, I'm very low and I'm not qualified, so I will sit here in the place where you wash your feet. Then seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's so glowing. They're seeing the aura on him. Then they said, no, please don't do this. Please don't do this. Please come and sit with us and tell us, why are you not discussing Vedanta like us? Why are you chanting and dancing like a madman? So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I am chanting and dancing because when I chant, I'm not able to control myself. I feel so much ecstasy and I want to dance. But then so many emotions erupt, then my body cannot take it. So I faint. Then I faint. And then when I get up, then I think that, oh, I wasted so much time. I did not chant. Then again, when I'm chanting, again, this is happening. So I am a fool because my spiritual master found me a fool. He said that you don't do anything, you just chant the holy names of Hare Krishna. Then they were all curious. Yeah, we saw you exhibiting these symptoms. These symptoms are not ordinary symptoms. We have read about them in the Vedanta Sutras. None of us are able to experience that, and we know that one is very highly advanced beyond bodily concept of life, who's in touch with Brahman. Only he can attain this. So all your symptoms that you're showing, we have read like that in the scriptures. Can you tell us more about this chanting? How you are getting the symptoms? Then he starts about the glories of the chanting the holy name and how Hare Krishna Mahamantra is non-different from Krishna, and how by chanting everything can be achieved. And they all agreed, yes, little by little by little. And at the end of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's talk, they all became Bhakti Yogis. So simply, that is the power of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we may come to the point of Bhakti Yoga or devotional service. So here there was a great he was one of the leaders, in 500 years before, up till 1000 years before, even up to recently, sannyasi means impersonalist. The worship of impersonal Brahman was so rampant. That was the only, they were majority. People who worship personal form of the Lord were very less until the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there was this great impersonalist leader. His name was Madhusudan Saraswati. But he composed a verse, and this famous verse, what he says, if the yogis with their minds, which have been brought under control through the practice of meditation, see some such transcendental light that is without qualities and action, let them see. So after great meditation, people may be able to see the transcendental light. But for filling our eyes with astonishment, let there be forever that indescribable blue light alone, which runs about hither and thither on the sands of Kalindi. Who is he saying here? Who's running hither and thither on the sands of Kalindi?
Krishna, who...
Yes, Krishna. So he's saying that Krishna is actually that Brahman. And if you worship Brahman, ultimately you can only see light. But then that light is basically is a part of this personality of Godhead Krishna, who is so charming. So he's attracting his mind. Although he was an impersonalist worshipper, he was attracted by the beauty and pastimes of Krishna. So this is a proof that how even impersonalists ultimately have to come to Krishna, and how Krishna attracts the mind of everyone. Okay, so this is again one story of Shukadeva Goswami. Who knows the story? Anyone who wants to recite the story?
Krishna Chaitanya.
Yes, Krishna Chaitanya.
So when Shukadeva Goswami was appeared running away from Lord Shiva, because he heard the Srimad, he was Radharani's parent. He came all the way down to Kailash, and he was hearing Shiva tell Parvati the Srimad Bhagavatam. Then when Shiva realized the parrot was hearing, he felt angry that the parrot was not qualified to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam, so he shouldn't be hearing. So he tried to chase the parrot, and then the parrot entered Vyasadeva's wife's womb. And So when Shiva asked for the parrot, Vyasadeva said that you cannot kill him because he already listened to Srimad Bhagavatam, so Shiva leaves. So, but then Shukadeva Goswami knows the power Maya comes in this world, so he does not want to come out of the womb. So when Vyasadeva tells you can come now, I assure you, Maya won't touch you. He does not believe Vyasadeva even. So Lord Krishna comes, and then Shukadeva Goswami will come out. So he's a pure person, but he became a impersonalist until he heard the Srimad Bhagavatam verse that the sages called out to bring him back.
Very good, Krishna Chaitanya. Wonderfully you said. Very nice. So he was, although he made this pastime, the Leela of showing that how even an impersonalist who has conquered the Brahman, who has become transcendental, gets attracted and serves the Lord when he hears the pastimes of the Lord. The pastimes of the Lord are so powerful that can attract the minds of anyone, a materialist, a karmi, a jnani, or yogi. And then he became so realized that he was chosen as a speaker to Parikshit Maharaj when Parikshit Maharaj was asking questions, and there was Narada Muni. He was Vyasadeva's son, and Vyasadeva was a spiritual master also, and Narada Muni was spiritual master of Vyasadeva. Everyone was there sitting and listening to what Shukadeva Goswami was telling to Parikshit Maharaj. So being a son of Vyasadeva, he proved this pastime of how he is impersonal. It means he doesn't know the difference between a male and a female. So that was his thing. He didn't know whether he was wearing a dress or not, whether he was eating or not. He was completely in touch with Krishna and not this material body. So he doesn't even know what's happening in the material body. So then he spoke the beautiful Bhagavatam. Okay, so this is a thing to prove how Krishna is saying that Bhakti Yoga is the best. Okay, let's go to Kahoot now. Do you want to play Kahoot?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Yes, Mataji. Oh, it's so low. Okay. Five 1604. Thank you, Shaurya, Pray, Hasini, Krishna Chinta. Shaurya 2.0 and Shaurya is 2 versions, is it? Who is Sharia 2.0? Because I can screenshot that I'm Sharia. Who's Sharia 2.0?
Can we start?
Yes, Mataji.
There's like 5 more people who have joined.
Can you give me 1 second, Mataji? I'm trying to log in.
Yeah. Can we start?
Yes.
Okay. Those who follow the path of inconceivable, unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord are called. This is very easy questions. Very, very easy questions. I think I should have given
Imagine
10.
yoga yogi. Yoga yogi.
It's a yoga yogi, a person who does yoga. Trust me, click it, click it.
You're the kind of person that even if you talked about a rock, people would buy it. And that's a compliment.
Yeah.
Okay. So Krishna Chinta, Shaurya, Vic, Pray the Winner, and Shaurya. Okay.
Who's Sharia 2.0?
Doesn't
That
matter.
is very troublesome.
You're still getting the credit.
Duplicate worship, because there's 2 duplicates, so it must be duplicate worship, because yeah, there's 2
Yeah, not
duplicates
buying it.
worshiping by doing
Not buying it.
Impersonal worship.
Wait, one person actually selected it.
I'm telling you, you're so convincing. Somebody will actually.
Yeah, the answer sheets are prepared by Prahalad's brother. Yeah, so the deity is called as
It's Jnana Vigraha. We didn't cover that one. Remember, we didn't cover it yet. It was Jnana Yoga, not Jnana Vigraha. It's Jnana Vigraha.
Not this time.
Nobody fell for it.
yes, you're right.
Nobody.
Okay, Kanchan has a streak with 3 correct answers in a row. Good job. Krishna Chinta is leading. Okay, the next question is Srila Prabhupada gives the mailbox example too.
It's the triangle, because triangle is not a very obvious concept. Many people still don't get it. So that's why they give the mailbox example to explain to everybody that Krishna is the only supreme.
Bruh.
This is called
The deity is not different from Krishna.
Bruh.
thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Kyat, you are first now. What happened to Aditya, Rajiv, and Aditya Kasturi? Bhakti Yoga is
I don't know.
Mataji, I wasn't feeling that.
It's not
my brother's
important.
not here.
Mataji,
It's
I
not
wasn't feeling.
important because
I
they
wasn't-
say impersonal worship is.
Mataji, I wasn't feeling that well today, so.
Okay, Aditya, take rest.
Now, who said it was complicated?
Bhakti Yoga is easy, that's right. Okay. Very
Why
easy
would it be
questions. Okay, the scoreboard remains the same. Vikyat has a streak with 5 correct answers in a row. Dash are taking a risk of not realizing the absolute truth at the end.
Living beings.
It's impersonalist. Yeah, it's impersonalist. Click that. That's the answer. Trust me on this. What? I was using reverse because I was using reverse method. Nobody
You
fell for
mean
it.
you were
The
using
conversation
reverse
easy,
psychology?
isn't it?
Yes.
What is lacking in jnana?
Eternity. All eternity is lacking in jnana.
Yeah. When you go to Yada, you don't have any eternity. It's just I'm giving free answers to anyone. It's an
Actually-
eternity. And also depression, because like seriously, you don't get any depression.
Yes, bliss. 7 of you selected bliss. That's great.
7th place, 7 out of 10.
Oh, 7 correct answers in a row, Vikyat. That's nice. Okay, Vignat and Krishna Chinta are only 3 points away. Okay, let's go
Shaurya
to the
2.0. Shaurya 2.0. Like,
By the
you
grace of
the
that,
person.
Jnana yogi may become a bhakti yogi.
What is this?
Quick precaution on the Saraswati and Chaitanya.
Devotee, by the grace of devotee. Because a devotee is the only person that can wait, what? That was actually right? No. But at least I still keep my
Very
position.
good. Very good. Frey, the winner, has a streak of with 8 correct answers in a row. Good job, Vikyat, Krishna Chinta, Kanchan, Prey, and Shaurya 2.0. Okay, let's go to the next question.
I'm going to
Nine.
win either way.
The following is not Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, definitely chanting.
Yeah, it's hearing the Lord's glories because you're not so because I mean you have to chant it and not actually learn about. Nobody.
Too obvious.
Nobody.
Nobody's going for it.
Yeah, that was too easy for me to do something about it.
So we should not waste prasadam. Prasadam is not only when it offered to the Lord, when it is served in your plate and the rest of the thing, that is also prasadam. So make sure that prasadam is not wasted. You need to be very conscious about it. Okay, Vikyatas. 10 out of 10. Sukadeva Goswami is the son of, it's a very easy question.
Varunadeva, definitely.
No, it's a parrot. Remember? It's like Krishna took form as a parrot, and then he gave Sukadeva Goswami. He transformed into a parrot and from a parrot into a human. Yeah, one person fell to Shaurya and me.
Yes. Let's see who's in the 3rd position is Krishna Chaitanya. And 2nd is Kanchan. The first one is Vikyat. Good job.
And I still got
Pray
still got
and
5th place.
After all these questions, it is only right for me to confess that I was the person who was acting Shaurya 2.0.
Leaving now. Divyansh, I'm leaving. I'm leaving now. I mean, yeah, well,
I don't know. Are you all interested in seeing?
Yeah, sure.
because it's the hall of shame. All the people who did bad go to shame from doing it. At least that's what the myth belief is.
So we shouldn't do it, right, Divyansh?
No,
No,
what
we
do you
shouldn't do
mean?
it. We shouldn't.
Well, of course you have to do it, but you shouldn't take it lightly. Do your best, but if you didn't do it, that doesn't mean you're stupid or
Right.
you're not a true believer.
Yes, you're right. Everyone is winner. Okay, so thank you very much. All of you did a great job. Today we learned about Krishna's personal form, how great it is, how easy it is. And impersonal form worship is very troublesome. Any questions? Do you have any questions? Otherwise, we are over time. We'll end the call, okay? Vansha kalpatarubhyascha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Ki
Jai.
Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Very beautiful picture, Hasani. Krishna from Chennai, right? Hare Krishna.
Thank
you, Mataji. End the call now, Mataji. End the call, Vrinda.